right
Yeah,
now.
man.
A salute to the young boy.
Right, man.
Right.
He been working. You feel me? But that's what fathers work for their
Mm-hmm.
kids. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they got everything they need. You feel me?
Absolutely.
So shout out to my son Justin, who's about to graduate, go to college as well. My other son, my oldest son, he's in college. You know what I'm saying? Doing his thing. Birthday coming up in 3 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Normally I have everything planned.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But because I've been so busy, I didn't get a chance to really plan too much. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
planning last minute.
Mm.
So
Sound
it's
like
either
me.
I'm gonna do some or I'm not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
At that point.
it's okay. If it don't work out, it don't work out.
Makes
You
sense.
understand what I'm saying? But taking it day by day. Once again, shout out to Papoose, shout out to Snaps, shout out to everybody who's been giving me an opportunity out there, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Keeping me busy. Shout out to Lyricist Lounge. This Sunday I'm gonna be on the set for Talib Kweli, Lyricist
Hello.
Lounge.
Hello.
So we still moving. You
Hello.
coming, right? You
Of
coming out?
course. You know
Okay,
I'm gonna
man.
be there,
Yeah,
man.
man. So that's big. Shout out to Mr. C, man. He just helped me out with a situation.
Shout out to C, man.
Just had him on the phone. So shout out to Mr. C. Um, what else, man? A lot of we spoke last week about stuff I've been doing, so that's already
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We're going on 8 years here.
It's like time flying, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like time is flying.
May 19th, I'm back on the air. Sirius XM Fly. Shout out to S.
Shout out
Dot,
to X
Ron
and
Mills.
Fly. What's up? That's that.
Um, May 19th is the pre-order release of Good Dad Gang 2 sneaker.
Hello. What's up, Term?
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Good Dad Gang, shout out to Terminology, Ewing Athletics.
Shout out Ewings.
Um
Shout out Trace for being a heavy ambassador too, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Y'all be taking this ambassador shit kind of light. And I see a lot of ambassadors. We talk a lot about how, these we talk a lot about the Instagram models and all these type of titles
Right.
that people give themselves. And I ain't gonna front. Ambassador's another one, man. If you taking on the responsibility of putting on a brand, man, take that responsibility on, no matter what if it's not contract based, then I guess, hey, you could feel free to do whatever you want. But if you take on a contract base and you sign to that contract, make sure you do what's entitled to that contract, man. And y'all out here running around with a lot of ambassador titles, but not really taking on that role and putting in the work for those brands who are looking to put themselves on the map and use y'all space for what y'all have it for, and y'all claim to put on these brands and y'all really don't. So shout out to Trace and all the other heavy ambassadors who really put on for the brands that they actually believe in, and not just maybe somebody giving them a paycheck, or not just running around trying to be cool and say, hey, I'm representing this brand for a time being, and not even having no contract base. But end of the day, man, take all roles seriously, and I say that to say again, go back to the forefront. Trace, you a heavy ambassador of every brand you put on for, and you with Athletics is one of them, and all the other ones you put on for the Black Bottle Boys, and that comes along the Vion and everything that comes along with that. So again, man, and everything you got going on, man, anything you represent, you make sure you embrace heavy, whether you are contractually based to that shit or not. You make sure if it's something that you want, you really rock with, you put on for it, man. I salute you for that. You know what I'm
I
saying? But
appreciate that,
the
man.
ambassador title itself,
Yeah.
you definitely make sure.
Influencer ambassador.
Ambassador, you definitely make sure that you put on for these brands that you
Nah,
represent. So
I appreciate that,
shout out to
man.
you.
I've been fortunate to rock with brands that I really organically support and have been supporting before I've been a part of the brands. Um, and it's crazy because a lot more people have been hitting me up asking me for advice about how I do it or how I've been able to do it. And the best thing that I could tell people who want to be influencers for brands and be brand ambassadors is really find brands that resonate with you. You know what I'm saying? That you support organically, that you wear, drink, whatever it is, you support it organically on a regular basis. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, a lot of other, there's some brands that are almost impossible. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're an athlete or you're such a huge figure, you know what I'm saying, that they can't say no to you. But everywhere, and like for example, everybody wears not everybody wants to, be a brand ambassador for Nike or Jordan. Those are almost impossible. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you're a certain type of figure, public figure. But I would say, man, like I think certain brands, like let's say you wear H&M. I think H&M is not impossible. You know what I'm saying? If you wear a lot of H&M, tag H&M. You know what I'm saying? Use the hashtag, but tag the page as well too. Post it on the page, not just on your stories. You know what I'm saying? I would say,
send your EPKs out to the emails.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely. Do your due diligence.
If you drink Vouv, you know what I'm saying? Like tag Vouv, reach out to them every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? But do these things tastefully in business, in a business sense with business etiquette, and a lot of times, it'll take some time, but it'll work out for you, man. It did for me. You feel me? I've been wearing Ewings since I was young. Bel Air, I've been drinking Bel Air since it first came out. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these things are just, organic. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody who helped me in these situations. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jordan Craig.
Shout out to Jordan Craig.
Jordan Craig is showing me a lot of love.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, but these are things that like I said, I've been wearing Jordan Craig. You understand what I'm saying? I've been talking to you about that,
right, for sure,
for a long time. Like, yo, I like to get down with them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they showing me love, man. They sent me a nice package, man. You know what I'm saying? I just rocked one of their new jeans that they just put out that they sent me. So, shout out to Jordan Craig. Just I'm happy to rock with brands that I organically love and support. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be a brand ambassador, really pick and choose these brands that you already support, wear, drink, however it is that you support.
It makes it a lot easier.
It makes it a lot easier, but you also have a catalog of posts to show the company that you really organically been rocking with them.
Right.
Why get down with Bel Air if you've never posted Bel Air on your page?
Right. If I can go back, like you said, however long ago, and that goes along with, like I was saying just before, putting together a catalog. When you reach out to these people, you can say, hey, not just my EPK, or not just me reaching out because I want to get a check, or I think this is trendy. You can actually say, hey, I really rock with your brand.
Right.
I've been really rocking with your brand. I've been a supporter of your brand. And even, I like, people hate the word fan these days, but I ain't afraid. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I tell people all the time, I'm not afraid to talk about, or show love, and again, how people receive that is now how I can, gauge on how I want to continue to show love. Right. But I'm not going to not show love because somebody might not take it well, or somebody might give me a cold shoulder while I'm trying to give love. That ain't going to never stop me from showing love. You feel what I'm saying? So again, if I can reach out to somebody like an H&M, like you said, and say, hey, I really want to rock with your brand because of what I really rock with your brand. Don't look at it as, damn, I'm trying to be, or even an artist, or you come up to people, man, be humble and show love.
But not even rock with your brand. Like I would, like, this is what I would suggest. You know what I'm saying? Like when I reached out to Jordan Craig, I say, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Trace. I've been a huge supporter of your brand. Is there anyone that I can reach out to or send some information to regarding your brand ambassador program or your influencer program? Is there, and can you point me in the right direction? That's the way you reach out.
Exactly.
You don't be like, oh, I rock your shit.
No.
I'm just saying in general.
No, for sure. No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how you reach out.
But that's what I'm saying, though. A lot of people will look at that, Trace, and be like, well, I am who I am. I'm not reaching out to nobody. They gotta reach out to me.
That's another thing.
You feel me? Because of who you are, right? You might feel like, yo, well, shit, Jordan Craig should be reaching out to me. They see me tagging them. They see H&M see me tagging them. UM Athletics see me tagging them. Why they not hitting me up to be a brand ambassador? No, sometimes, like I said, you gotta, like you just said, take the humbleness that you rock with a brand. You rock with UM Athletics since you said you was a kid, right? So at the end of the day, for you to reach out, it's not out the way. You know,
No,
it's
no,
not,
yeah.
it's not nothing where you got to feel, oh, I got to humble myself, oh, I got to reach out, and they should be reaching out to me. No, look, man, like you said, you be professional about it. You let them know, and not only that, you have a catalog that you can go back from to say, yo, I'm gonna throw this picture in the email from 1995 when I had the UF Athletics on and I was out rocking the block party in Harlem.
Right,
You feel what I'm
right, right,
saying?
right,
Just to show the nostalgic and what I'm really here for, not
right,
not a check. You feel what I'm saying? But
right,
again, I say all that to say sometimes a lot of the people in your space, or again, I'm not an influencer, I'm not an artist, I'm not a public figure. So a lot of times I see these people when I'm in these spaces and I see how they sometimes might poke their chest out. And a lot of times I always tell you that it's not you, of course, because you're very humble, but a lot of times people in your space with your stature and the things that you've done will say, yo, people should be reaching out to me. People should be hitting me up. People should be saying, "Yo, Trace, I need you to hit me." But you know, you're that different. You're that different. That one difference where it's like, hey, listen, this is not where it's always gonna go. You know, if I really rock with a brand, I'm gonna reach out. Of course, on a professional level, but I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna make sure I do my due diligence and not just say, hey, you know, you can
right,
we gonna just sit here and not miss out opportunities
right.
instead of me reaching out and
Well,
showing
well,
love.
you know what I've learned a lot too with a lot of the with a lot of people in the industry is that they want to be a part of these brands because of a check.
Right.
Not so much because of the product or because of the look or because
Exactly.
they actually really like the brand, but for a check. And for me, like me personally, this is just my opinion. I've always been a strong believer in proving your worth to a company that you want to be a part of.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You can't say I got 100, I got 1 million followers. This is what I do. I'm on MTV, and then ask a company for a check. How do you know that company even knows you, or
Right.
knows your catalog, or knows your work?
Or those million followers is actually going to support you for what you're trying to
Right.
support for
But
them.
you know what they're gonna look at? They're gonna go on your page and say, "You've never drank our product. You've never worn our product. You've never shouted out our product." And then they're gonna be like, "Why should we cut you a check?"
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
But that also goes into listen, Trace, we're in a different era because that would go really back then, like back in the, give it 10 years ago. Yeah, that might be the case. But right now, you might have a company that might fuck with you just because you got a certain amount of followers. No matter if you rock their brand or not.
But this is why I said from my experience, a lot of these brands that I'm a part of, they ask like
But
you know
that's
you know
certain,
that
they're gonna do their due diligence though.
they want to know if you've been really supporting the brands.
Why?
You know what I'm
Because
saying?
those brands know that they can use that for
Right.
later in investment in their actually what you're here
Right.
for. As an ambassador, we can actually say, hey, you can never press in our brand and say that we have people around representing us that really don't fuck with us, that really don't rock with us, that really don't
Right.
do or have, like you said, wore our product, drank
Right.
our drink, any of these things. You can't say that somebody's actually worn our cologne, none of put a hat on, nothing of that. All right, cool. But you got some of these companies that might say, well, shit, hey, listen, I saw Trace, he was doing this, he was doing that. He was around X, Y, and Z. He's been doing this lately. Remember, we was talking before about how people will look at you as of what you're doing lately.
Right.
You feel me? They might try to gauge on to just, oh shit, fuck it. Trace ain't never rocked nothing that we wore, but shit, he doing X, Y, Z right now. Let's give him a check.
Right.
And then you got certain people that's gonna take that.
Right.
And then you got other people, again, that shit. I mean, you got people that's ambassadors of liquor who don't even drink. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
You go,
Which I don't think makes sense.
I
don't think it makes sense for you to be a part of a brand that you really organically do not support in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you get a check or not. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's not just the ambassador's fault though. It's the company too though.
It doesn't.
It's the company too though. The company is cutting the check.
That doesn't make no sense to me.
The company, but the company supports it.
Because look, at the end of the day, I've been wearing Ewings. You know what I'm saying? That's just something that I wear. That's a part of me and my look. You understand what I'm saying? I don't wear what everybody else
But
wears.
if Nike was willing to cut you a $5 million check to be the ambassador, you wouldn't say, well, shit, all I got is pictures in Ewings.
I would do the right business thing. I would go back to Ewing saying, look, this is what's being brought to my attention. Can you match it? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm a human being too that has children. So, Is it
Children are not though.
You understand what I'm saying?
That money, money talk.
But my thing is this. Like my thing is this. Going back to what I was saying earlier, a lot of people nowadays just want to get down with brands because they want the free product or because they think there's a check.
It's a fact.
No, do not try to be an influencer for a brand or a brand ambassador just because of a check.
But don't say that, Trace. Don't say that.
Listen,
You said they got kids too. What about they got kids?
This is my opinion.
All right.
Me, the reason why I'm in the situations that I'm in, and I'm a part of these brands now is because I organically support these brands before I got down with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worked for me. So if people come to me for advice, I'm gonna tell them what worked for me. It don't mean that it's gonna work for them. You understand what I'm saying?
So can I ask you one question?
Yes.
A brand that you have not worn, that you haven't supported yet,
right,
comes up to you with a check.
I just told you. I'll go back.
No. Outside of anything that would go against what you already have or what you already are.
If it's something that I like, if it's something that I like and I feel like it could be a part of me and what I do on a regular basis, and I could put it into my routines, it'll make sense. Because then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a check and promote a brand that I really don't like or see potential in. Like
if somebody's willing to cut you a check for wearing glasses that you don't like the designs of.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would probably think twice about it.
Okay, cool.
That's just me.
Well, again, because you are in certain situations that you can afford to do that, there are multiple people that might think that just say, hey, you know what? A bag is a bag. I might not like the designs of these glasses. I might not like anything about these glasses, but they're willing to cut me a check. All I gotta do is say I fuck with them. I'm going to say that I'm going to do that. And again, is that something that you should do, or who are we to say shouldn't do? But again, for most people, I know that that's not really a no-brainer. It's the industry that I'm in. I'm going to, unless, like I said, it's just something that you're totally against, obviously. But if it's not something that goes against what you really believe in religiously or consciously, I mean, listen, man, a check is a check. So
going back again, my third sneaker design with Ewing Athletics drops.
Woo.
The pre-sale drops this month on the 19th, gang. Alongside Ewing Athletics, Good Dad Gang and Terminology.
Shout out Term, man.
It's been such a pleasure working with those two sides on this project.
The first one was heavy, man.
It is the second installment of a sneaker made specifically for fathers on Father's Day. We have our own shoe. Ewing Athletics is the first company to support an all Father's Day shoe. So, we did it last year. It sold out.
It was heavy.
Everybody loved it.
It's heavy.
You know what I'm saying? And this year we're dropping our second installment to that shoe.
Now you're making me get the second pair.
I can say this. I can't talk too much about the project, but what I could say is we simplified the design a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So it's a little simpler, and hopefully I'll be dropping my fourth sneaker in October. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, man, you're making my Father's Day thing that I get gifts for people heavy. I burnt my brother the last ones last year.
May 19th.
Now you're getting the second one. I got to get him probably that one for these years. So shout out all the fathers, man. Shout out all y'all doing a heavy good job before Father's Day come up. But Mother's Day is coming up too, so shout out all the good mothers. Man.
Yeah, and with the Mother's Day stuff, we said this last year. I'm going to say it again this year.
Y'all got to step it up.
Ladies, fall back. It is not, when it comes to Father's Day, fall back. Mother's Day is on the 14th
of
May.
Rock. Can you let them rock?
No.
Trace.
No.
Can you get into June before you chill?
Absolutely not. No. I'm going to say this ahead of time.
You wildin'.
Ladies, your day is this month.
Yeah.
Do not come out in June wanting people to say Happy Father's Day to you selfish asses.
That's crazy.
Stand back and do not say nothing. Let the fathers enjoy their day.
He's going crazy
June.
Right now.
That's that.
I'm sorry, mother.
Shout out to all the mothers to do what they do. Happy Mother's Day ahead of time.
Let them
but when
rock.
it comes to June,
you can't even get into June.
Let the fathers rock.
You can't even get into the last week in May before you start ranting.
Y'all selfish. Some of y'all selfish. I want both days and shit. Valentine's already yours, goddammit. Your birthday's already yours. You want everything.
Christmas too. They gotta get Christmas.
You want everything for Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And on a regular, you got to get the
if you-
nails and feet
If
and
you with
hair
your
and all
man,
that
if
too.
you with your man or your husband for years, fucking anniversary is
Yeah,
about
the
you
anniversary,
two.
the anniversary.
It's never about the dudes.
Right.
Let us rock on Father's Day and our birthdays. Fall the fuck back. Pay for something. Pay the bill. You know what I'm saying? Do something.
I'd have waited till at least the last week
No,
in May,
I'm
y'all.
gonna start now.
But Trace is wilding right now.
I'm gonna start now. Because they already want to say Happy Father's Day in May.
Yo, we here on the Freak Show, man. It's going on 8 years, man. We here.
So this is an interesting story today.
Yeah.
This normally doesn't happen too often with me. But this young lady
at all, man. You hit me last
at
minute
all,
too.
At all.
Yeah, facts.
This young lady, I actually met her for a couple of seconds at an event. Shout out to Jay Crew Love.
Shout out Jay.
Yeah, shout out to what he does. He does some dope stuff with Jack Daniels and art and hip hop. I forgot what it was called, but shout out to him on that event. I've been to it 2 years in a row. So on my way, I think it was on my way in or on my way out, regardless of whatever, it was at this event. He introduces me to this young lady and she talks to me about music. Normally, I would brush it off like, I don't want it. You know me. I don't really like to deal with artists too much. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's always pushing music to me. But she did it nicely. She was cool about it. She did it pretty cool. So I was just like, okay, I got a radio show. The regular stuff.
Right.
And I invited her up because I think she did it in a real tasteful manner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She bombarded me with some stuff, but she made sure I got the music. You know what I'm saying? After the second email, I was like, God damn it. But, she's cool. She's been professional. And I want to hear her story. You know what I'm saying? Because we spoke a little bit on a DM. It seems like she has a very big story to herself. And I wanted to bring it here to the Fix Show because, we like to have dope stories up here. 8 years on this station, we've always had dope stories.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So why not bring this story over here? Like I said, I don't know her from a hole in the wall. We're not personal friends.
Right.
We just met really quick and we made the connection to come up here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
I'm excited too because this is the first time I think that I've actually had a guest that was full, I can have their music mostly another genre, like Spanish, full Spanish. Like I mean, mostly Spanish.
Yeah.
Most of our guests that I've had in the past 4 years of being up here has been R&B, rap, some pop stuff here and there.
Right.
But so now I'm excited to get into the bilingual type of artist.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to going. I went through some of the music. I got a chance to hear some of the cool sounds. I had to go to my Google Translate to actually translate some of the words inside the sounds. But you know what I'm saying? Overall, I could tell that me, hard work, a lot of dedication on the music side of things. So I was excited to have her up here and talk to her. See what's going on.
Right. So let's bring her on and hopefully I say this correctly because sometimes people spell their name a certain way. I might say it wrong.
Is
it Fina Music?
It's Fina. Right?
Fina?
It's Fina.
Fina. Okay.
The music
Miss
adds
Fina,
to the page, but Fina is
please come up to our podium. Let's go, man. Fina, let's go. Come on, man. We're going to keep the claps going. We're going to keep the claps going. Keep the claps going.
Rolling.
Yeah, keep the claps going. She's here. Right. Let's lower this. Right. Okay. Yeah. So what's up?
How you guys doing?
Big Aquarius energy. Her hat is big Aquarius energy, man.
Right.
It's Gemini season about to come up here. We got Aquarius season here.
It's Aquarius season all year round.
I heard. Oh man, God damn, say that.
Right. Oh my God.
Right.
Fina, what's up? We here? You here?
Yes, I made
Big
it.
Queens. Also another Big Queens artist.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I waited until she sat down so I could just scream that out. Crazy.
Oh yeah, where you from?
I'm from Queens. Too.
Oh, see, the Queens is in the house.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that.
I'm on the north side. Yeah, I saw a Corona type of vibe.
Yeah.
I was getting.
If I would have known that ahead of time, I probably would have brought her in June.
Nah. Well, that would have even been worse because that would have been Gemini season. It would have been vibing in here.
Yeah, the air sign.
Exactly. So again, you know what I'm saying? It's great to have Queens up here.
Yes,
Another
it's
Queen
good
is
to
a
be
Queens
here.
artist. Talk to us, Fina. Talk to us about who you are, what you do. Tell the people. I already told them where you was from a little bit, but you can also tell them again.
Yes.
But yeah.
So first and foremost, it's something that they always ask me. So my artist name is Fina.
Right.
But my social network is Fina Musique.
Musique.
Yeah, and it's not music because then that's a C, it's with a Q.
Right.
And the funny story behind that is that years ago when I created the Instagram, I couldn't get Fina because Fina is actually the corporation of the water swimming stuff for the United States.
Right.
So I couldn't get Fina, and then I went for Fina Music, but there's a Fina Music out there.
Okay.
So then I was like, all right, what if I put a Q? And then it just stuck. So now I'm like Fina Musique, but I'm really Fina.
Right.
So I wanted to just throw that out there.
Okay.
So I'm from the Dominican Republic, so I'm Latina.
Shout out DR. You know what I'm saying? I was out there, a couple of things.
¿Tú hablas español?
No, I don't.
Tú tienes que hablar español
But
un chin.
I understand a little bit here and there. You know what I'm saying? When I was out in DR, I had my translator with me. So I was out. Shout out to Sua. Don't nobody talk about it, but we was out there showing love. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people was just showing love.
Yes. So I've been singing since I was 3 years old. I was raised since very little in Queens, New York. I'm still there. I love me some Queens.
Right.
So I will always rep that.
Heavy.
Yeah. And then just growing up, I always had, the dream to sing. I started writing music when I was like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8. But I used to rap.
Okay.
Yeah, because singing in the melodies, it was a little too hard. So I started with just writing lyrics. So I would rap and then sing my hook. By the time,
when you say I just would started rapping, like what is this like? When you say I started rapping, are you hitting the? I don't know how old you are. I don't know your generation you are, so I don't want to age you. But like, what are you rapping to? How are you rapping? What are you?
Nah, I was straight Biggie and Tupac. Like I was like 8 talking about I'm shooting people up. Okay. I'm holding down the block.
So
like,
are you hitting the record button with the cassettes and trying to make sure you get the beat and all that? All right, cool. So again, that is the influence is why you the rapping part of it.
Yeah, I grew up more like in the 90s vibe. So
cool.
Pretty much
Tomboy,
then.
You sound like.
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to play basketball. I was MVP of my basketball team for like 10 years, AAU and CYO.
Wow.
Like, there's a lot of me that a lot of people don't know, but I've always been kind of like a mix because I'm a girly girl too, but I still have that tomboy to me. So it's cool. But I had to start with writing rap lyrics because with rap lyrics, it's just the rhyme and the words, not so much adding the melody.
Right.
By the time I was 12, then I was starting to write melodies and songs.
Okay.
See, but I had to start somewhere. And it was one of my...
What was that influence like? What made you go from, okay, my raps now got to go to melodies? Like,
well, that was my goal. But I had, at the time, my sister's boyfriend, which he was like a teenager at the time. He told me, well, do you write your music? But I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old. I'm looking at him like, I sing.
Right.
But he's like, no, you got to write. So I was like, okay. So I started writing and I'm like, I can't do it. He's like, start by just writing words, rhymes, poems. So it was just a way of me getting used to writing.
Right.
Once I got used to it, then melody just kicked in. And by the time I was 12, now I could write melodies and write lyrics.
Okay.
See that? So I kept going. I was doing talent shows, all the borough talent shows that were going when you fight for the borough, then you fight for Brooklyn, Bronx, and everything. And I used to win all of those. I used to work in the centers. So it was a lot of fun. And that's pretty much what I did growing up.
CYO. Cool.
Yeah, CYO. Yeah, and the Lost Battalions, all that cool stuff.
Right.
Then I got into vocal coaching with Craig Derry. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him.
Okay.
So he does these famous boot camps. He did Diddy's people, Keisha Cole,
Craig,
Mark Anthony. Like, I love me some Craig.
Yeah.
And I started with him like around 16, and I used to do all these boot camps. I think that's the start of me kind of entering the industry. Because in my boot camps, I had a lot of really dope people that now actually are killing it, but I didn't know that. Right. So I started meeting people, collabing with different people. In high school, I ended up going to Frank Sinatra Performing Arts School.
Okay.
So I get accepted there. That's the Performing Arts School of Tony Bennett's, opposed to LaGuardia, where everybody thought, well, you should go to LaGuardia or PPAS. And I'm like, I want to go with the new school that came out in Queens.
Right.
It's small. I got Tony Bennett in my corner.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there. There it was super cool. We sang with Diana Ross. We got invited to, I believe, his 81st or 82nd birthday. I had Kevin Spacey at the time, which, back then.
Right. Yeah.
Back then, he was the person that did the public speaking for my when we graduated and gave us a diploma. It was a whole vibe.
Right.
So that was a great experience coming out of there. I actually went to college. I studied college in Brooklyn Heights, St. Francis College.
Shout out St. Francis.
I decided to do something that can kind of mix with my music. So I said, well, let me just study PR and advertising.
Okay.
Because I was there, but I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be singing.
Right.
So around the time, I had a little small publishing deal in Chicago. I go out there, I do my thing. It didn't really work out. I come back to New York. At this point,
you can't just skip around these type of things, though, because a lot of times on this show, we try to give the insight to the people, to the artists that really don't know, because a lot of times we look at interviews like this and then somebody might look at it. And I talk to a lot of artists. I'm dealing with a lot of these artists, and they'll tell me things like, I watched this person, but they didn't really, all they said was, this, but I don't really know what that struggle was like. What was a publishing deal like for Chicago? How'd you just, like, what was that just?
It happens so quickly. Like, that's not even really one of the most important. That's why I'm kind of skimming through it. So I get to the where I got to, and I really started maneuvering. But I'll still explain a little bit more on that. This is during my college years. So I'm in and out of trying to finish a college degree and going in and out in Chicago.
Right.
I live in New York. It was interesting. I think it taught me a little bit more about discipline. It taught me more about, like, there's no sleep in this industry. Mm-hmm. This is my first shot actually going in and recording again since I was younger, recording in the studio, working with different producers and writers, not just me trying to write my own lyrics, being around people that weren't in the industry at the time in Chicago, I guess, and just slowly mingling into that. But it was a different experience than what I got years later. So everything gradually escalates in a sense. Okay. If you go slowly, every year you'll see yourself at a higher step.
Right.
Patiently, of course. Right. So to me, then that was big. And now when I look back at that, I laugh. Right. Okay. Right. I laugh and I go, oh my God, I thought that was big then.
Right. Of course.
But it wasn't.
It was a step though.
But I needed it.
In that moment, it was. Though.
Because it was practice for me.
Of course.
During that time, what I learned how to get in front of a mic like here and talk to you guys. During that time, I learned how to now write with other people, not just write by myself. Now I'm working with real songwriters. Okay. You know what I'm saying? People that do this to make a living. Right. And it was a whole nother experience. Okay. I'm working with a different type of producer that doesn't just send me the beat or doesn't send me this. Like, he's sitting there, we're going to organically create a new sound. I never had that before. Right. So it was a whole new world, and Chicago's a whole nother world too, by the way. So it was a different culture. I had a very good time while it went on. It was about a year, and then I came back to the States for good. Okay. And I did the Apollo too. I was Apollo winner back in 2009. So that was fun. I won with Christina Aguilera for about 8 rounds straight.
Nice.
Yeah, I kept singing the same song, Hurt.
Nice.
It was my theme song for the whole year. That was a great experience. Apollo 2, fun fact, Apollo was the last show that I ever shivered before I got on the stage.
Apollo was the last show that you ever
shivered, shake. So I used to have this.
Nervous.
Yeah, I used to have this thing. People used to think I would never be nervous, and I would tell them, actually, before I step on a stage, I shake a little bit and I sweat. This was me my whole career coming up. But when I did Apollo in 2009, I never shook again. When I stepped out and I touched the rock, because you have to touch the little rock, I came out, and my mom actually told me that from the audience, she saw my legs shaking while the musicians, they started playing the intro. Once I sang the first 2 words, then I warmed up. But I swear to you, I didn't think I was going to be able to sing. Right. My legs were shaking. My hands were sweaty. And after I got through that crowd, right, I was lucky they loved me and they didn't boo me off. I didn't get any boo from that crowd in any of those days, even when I lost at the end. Yes, but it was nerve-wracking because I knew they could.
Okay.
Right? And I only had 5 people in the crowd. Apollo is a place that you need to bring your people there.
Right.
Because you win by the applause.
I've seen many boos. I've witnessed many boos.
Let me tell you something about the Apollo, man. And it's only because I could, relate to you. My first time at the Apollo was last year? It was last year. And my first time at the Apollo, look who I'm doing it. Look who I'm opening up for. They go, we want you to open up for Kid Capri and KRS-One at the Apollo. My first night at the Apollo for these big artists and these big people in the industry. I'm like, what the fuck? I cannot mess up. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times too, and I'll be honest about this. I don't want to sound crazy, but this is just how I feel. A lot of times, you feel because you're Spanish and you're in a lot of these other different places that they might not give you the love because you're Spanish. Sometimes I feel like that. You understand what I'm saying? Have you ever felt like that?
I think more in my older days. Yeah, back then, not so much. I didn't think about it too much.
But sometimes I get scared, especially
you're saying more or less now.
Yeah, and more or less now.
Especially if you never been there, they never seen you there. Yep. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. You have to think of all these things. You understand what I'm saying? So luckily, I did my thing. I think I messed up a little bit. There's some parts that I messed up because I was so nervous and so shook. But the crowd didn't think so, and they actually clapped for me really loud.
Nice.
I got an ovation for it. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't it feel good?
It does at the Apollo, and to not get booed, because I think that's the first thing people think about when they're there. Am I gonna get booed?
Yep.
I think every
that's why I was
there,
shaking. I was dying.
But after Kid Capri was like, "Yo, you did your thing," I was like, "All right, that's it. I'm good.
Yeah,
I don't got to hear nobody else's shit."
So that also changed you.
It changed me completely. I never again shook. I've never shaken again or did it again before any stage. I don't care who's before before me.
I still get nervous.
What's going? Nope, I never got nervous again.
I still get nervous everywhere.
Like, I don't know what it was about. It was just bad. Like,
Right.
I never felt like I'm on a stage and when the beat dropped, I don't know if I was going to have anything come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't stop my legs from shaking. I couldn't stop the sweat from coming down.
Right.
But
So what do you think that the change was? Was it the actual crowd? Was it you being in front of a certain amount of people? Was it the actual stage that you were on?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that stopped that shivering or that nervousness from happening again?
So, well, it was the stage that was intimidating in the first place. To me, it's not the crowd. I can always sing in front of millions. If you sing in front of 100, it's the same millions to me. It doesn't make a difference. Plus, you have all those lights coming at you. You can't see nobody anyways.
Right.
The thing is what the Apollo represents, the stage I knew I was on, the rock that I just touched, I know who touched it before me.
Right.
And I also know that this is the one stage that they can boo you and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, in other places, you'll sing and they're not going to boo you even if they're like, oh, she sucked.
Because of the respect that's supposed to be shown.
They're supposed to show to all
Right.
entertainers. But here, they can boo you.
Right.
So I'm like, oh no. And then again, it's the Apollo.
So it was more or less of the confidence that you got built in from not getting the boos.
Yeah, and just
from
being
this type of crowd that you know on any stage that you performed on before this, that most likely you've gotten a good amount of respect. But you know here, it was going to be a different type of level. So when you accomplished that and you didn't get that boo that you might have been expecting.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I preferred expecting it to expect for the worst.
Right. You know, that you might have been expecting. So you overcame that, but you getting that love now has instilled that confidence in you to say, moving forward, I can perform anywhere now because whatever goes on, I'm prepared for it. And I can get ready
but
for
did that also change you as an artist and how you're, like how you format, like how you format your music, how you perform? Did it change anything of you?
I think it just changed my confidence level. Like, I just wasn't scared anymore.
Nothing else was changed, like
no.
how you do music,
No.
like anything. It was
No.
just that.
Because remember, when you go in the Apollo, you're going up and you're singing just one song and it's one cover and you're singing with live band. But I was used to singing with live band. I was able to sing a cappella with live band because since I went to performing arts school, we had all this stuff going on. So I wasn't scared about that. Some other artists might find that intimidating because they're used to singing on record. Instrumental's different than live music.
Absolutely.
Right? And then the Apollo musicians are so dope that you have nothing to worry about. Even when you go flat, they go flat with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how they do it. You only practice once with them before you go on stage. Only once.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's showtime.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So imagine how crazy that is. That's how good they are.
Right. So moving forward from the Apollo, like how was Fina after the Apollo? Like, what did you do? How was your career like? Like, what changed for you?
So years after, because remember, 2009, the
and you
publishing
said that
deal
was your
after
last,
that.
right?
So 2015 hits. I actually took, right after college, I took off for a bit. Life hits and you're out of college. I'm like, right, I actually need to work too. Music, it takes years, as you know, even as a DJ, it takes time before you can really start producing anything where you can only just do that.
Right.
So I was like, all right, and now I'm a grown up. Can't be asking mommy for allowance every week now, right? So I'm out of college and I'm like, I got to start something. So I started my own business. And that's when I did the Fina's Empanadas thing, which people actually remembered me for. And I used to distribute empanadas. So you couldn't call me for like 5 empanadas. But if you had a dope party of 1,000, I could get you 1,000 empanadas over. And I made a ridiculous amount of money that whole year. I started this business. Why? Because when I graduated college, I had no experience.
Right.
I was doing music all these years. And I didn't notice a degree was not enough.
Right.
So I started my own business. Shockingly, this thing works. I'm networking with people. And somewhere inside of me, I was like, okay, I need to get back to music. See, and that's the relation I always had with music. Every time I've left, I've always found myself right back where I'm like, okay, I can't escape this even if I wanted to.
Right.
So 2015, I want to get back to music. I'm like, oh my God, I don't
You gotta
have...
find yourself back then empanadas too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't get a chance to try one of those.
Yeah,
but you gotta go back and try one of those.
Yeah, they're
2015.
I still take certain orders from very certain people, but not really if I have time. But
Right.
I do want to bring that business back.
Okay,
Because
cool.
we're at a different point in life now where I don't physically need to always be there.
I'm about to say, you can get some people, make sure they know what they're doing.
I could figure this out. A little ghost kitchen.
There you go. Hello.
So I'm like,
Right.
But
2015.
yeah, in 2015, I had to be like, I want to get back. I want to do music. How can I do music if I can't do this, and that? So Pekkas from at that time,
Shout out Pekkas.
Mr. Pekkas was in what was he in Universal? What was it when he was in Republic? He was doing music. He was like the president of Def Jam. It was Def Jam. It was like for 6-8 months. That's before he went back to Rock Nation Sports, right? And at that time, I was asking like my uncle and a couple of other people to help me find producers and writers. I've been out of the game for a minute. Even every other year, the whole industry changes. He tells my uncle, well, the first thing she got to do is, she has to create a demo. have a creative demo. Like, he's like, just get a demo done and we could go from there.
Right.
Fine. So I started interviewing a lot of different producers. Like, I got a lot of friends pulling in different strings, me, different producers, different writers. And in the end, I decided to go with Chris Gotti and crew. So Chris Gotti at the time, he
Shout
was
out Adventures.
yeah, Adventure. So I was I'll get back to that.
Right.
So fine. So I worked with Chris Gotti at that. He was working with, what was his name? I almost forgot. There were a whole crew of them, but it was like White and all of them.
Mhm.
They write Arifa, the producers,
Right.
and then some of the writers, Stats. So many of them, really,
Shout
at
out
this point.
Stats.
They're all killing it right now,
Right.
right? I had some of these producers that actually did Beyonce's album this year too, and they all moved to LA, but back then they used to live here.
Mhm.
We all got together in the studio and we worked on 4 records, right? Boom. So we kill these 4 records in 4 or 5 days. We write them, we record them, I co-wrote with them. Great experience. This is the most crazy experience to me because it's the first time that I'm now with people that are, it's not like Chicago.
Mhm.
These people do this for real. And Chris
Right.
Gotti, please, to me, I remember Gotti when I was a kid and I was
Right.
like, I always wanted to be murdering.
Right.
Like, this is me as a child. Like, I can't believe I met this man.
Right.
So I'm here, we record the records. And a couple months later, Gotti hits me and he's like, let me ask you a question, Fina. Great, you got the records done, but what are you doing now? And I was like, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what to do now. And we're in a digital world now. Back in the day, it was more like you get the records and you try to send it to labels and people and DJs and try to work it, mixtapes, but that's not how the world was anymore. So I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I never thought that far back. And he's like, well, I'm starting Adventures. Long story short, I was literally either the first or the second. I don't pass number 2
Mhm.
artist on Adventures. And he's like, well, let's do something. He's like, I'm releasing Adventures. I could distribute your music through there. Pick a record of the 4 and let's get it on. So I picked No Such Thing, which is the record I sent you. The video. No Such Thing was a record that is crazy. Like, it's a dope record. It kind of reminds you of that Mary J. Blige feel from back in the day, the hip hop,
Mhm.
like 90s beat, but then with that new sound of like R&B hip hop of 2015.
Okay.
Right? And we record this record. Gotti's like, we need a feature for this because the writer, one of the writers was the ones that did the rap on it.
Right.
And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, let me see what I do. A week later, he sends me back the track. He's like, this is the song. And I was like, no, you can't just put somebody on the record. He's like, well, he changed drugs and you don't got no play right now. You just got here. Changed drugs got a name. We're going with this record. So I go in and I'm like, no, like I was so against this verse only because Chinks in the record, like the whole song, I'm talking about a guy that's cheating, that don't know what really love is. It's called No Such Thing. The whole record, I'm telling you, you're a cheater, you're a liar, you're cheating on me. You don't know what love is. And instead of him coming into the record and praising me like, sorry, forgive me, he like, you crazy. Like, you making all of that up. Your friends are getting in your head. I didn't do nothing.
That's how.
Meanwhile, in the whole, and I was like, I don't like this tape. And Gotti's like, nah, it's not all about, kind of like what you were saying with the Women's Day and stuff. Like, when we want everything for ourselves, I was like, no, I need him to be on his knees in this record and apologize. That's what I wanted out of this record. He's like, but that's not what they're gonna do. Chinks just made this record more real. Because he's telling you, bugging, you're crazy, to the point where now you're thinking like, am I like, is it all in my head?
Right.
And it really flipped the whole sound of it. I didn't meet Chinks in the studio. I actually met him the day of the recording of the record. Like,
Rest
when we
in
did
peace,
the film.
Chink Drop.
R.I.P.
Yes,
Chinks.
R.I.P.
Big Queens.
Yes, big Queens. We're actually doing his lighting soon too.
Absolutely.
I believe it's on the 17th. So if anybody wants to go to that, it'll be at 5 p.m. on Queens Boulevard. We're gonna do the
Yes.
candle lighting.
Okay.
But it was such a good experience. He was all love, always with his Patron bottle. And it was just such a good time. We filmed this video. We get this done. Another joke, he mentioned I was 5'4" on the record. I'm like, I don't know, under 5 feet, right? But he didn't know that. And when he guessed it, he was like, oh, none of the producers could have told me this. I was like, so that was that record. We bring this out. Then this other crazy thing happened in 2015. Like, my whole life has been very weird because it's kind of like I'm moving around, kind of like how I met you, Trace. Like, I'm just in one place and boom, something just magically happens. And so I start thinking, like, I'm a big believer that God just knows what he's doing with me. I don't know where
Nothing's
my
a
path is going.
coincidence.
Like, I really don't know where it's going.
Right.
But I know I'm on the right path because he's not taking me off of it.
Nothing's
Anytime I trace, I'm
coincidence.
back. Right? So I'm hanging around. One of my biggest dreams coming from Queens was to sing in Citi Field.
I saw you.
Right? It was a dream. It was a dream to sing in Citi Field. And mind you, a couple months before that, I believe Chinks just passed because the record came out and he passed 3 months in, which was weird. And I'm like over it. Like, I'm like, oh no, like this and that. People are showing the record love. Like, one of the DJs actually showed a lot of love to the record, and he's like pretty popping now, DJ Will.
Shout out Will,
yeah. What is that, 105, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So he, back then in 2015, he used to spin it, and I used to be stuck every time I used to hear it. But he showed a lot of love, and California showed a lot of love with the record as well. But with the Met Stadium was a little weird. There was an audition. I think 2015 was the first year that they had the live auditions that they announced. You can come to the stadium and you can do an audition, and if we choose you, you sing at the arena. I didn't get a chance to go to that audition. So I'm a very persistent person. Instead of just taking it as I lost that audition, I said, well, you know what? I'm going to record a video of me singing. I'm going to send it in anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll take a look at it and they'll like it. I mean, I know you have to go there, but it's worth a try.
Right.
I send it. I didn't get chosen for the actual year, but in 2015, they went to the playoffs, right? It pushed, so that means they got more games. Right on the mark of the playoffs, the night before the first playoff game, I believe they were against the Red Sox. I get a call at 7 a.m, mind you. I don't be up at 7 a.m. I'm a night owl. So in the morning, I'm sleeping. I actually woke up and picked up the phone, and it was to an unknown number, which I also don't pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, who's this? And they're like, hey, we're calling from Citi Field. You sent the anthem video. We wanted to know if you can sing tomorrow for the anthem, the first playoff game. So now look how God played it for me. Not only am I singing at Citi Field, but now I got a better game. Like the final game to really find out, like, these boys can even get a chance to go all the way. And I'm like, I'm stuck. And then against Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, done. I haven't even practiced the anthem in years. And I was like, yo, done, I'll figure this out. The whole day I was practicing that song. The next day I called my whole family, like, we need to go to the Citi Field. I'm singing tomorrow. I met Jerry Springer, which, by the way, also RIP. The mayor,
Springer,
all these people were there.
RIP.
It was a huge game. For me, that was huge. I get there, it was 90 degrees. I'm sweating. I was sweating, but I wasn't sweating of nerves. I was just like, I'm going to die. I'm going to pass out because it was so hot. This is the irony of it all. The morning of, I had no voice out of nowhere. No voice. When I did the practice, no voice would come out. The minute I stepped to the little podium that they have at the inside the arena, inside the fields, my voice popped out. And it was bigger than ever. Like, to a point where I almost felt like I wasn't even there, and I didn't react back till I finished the song. Like, I didn't even notice I was there the whole time singing until I finished it. And then I looked up and I saw all the applause and the standing ovation. That was probably, and even to this day, one of the most impacting moments ever. Like, I never thought I would feel something like that. And that was my first stadium. I had a lot more after that. So I leave.
Anthem record. Right?
Yeah, the anthem record.
Let's make that clear, though. For your first time,
yeah,
anthem record.
Yeah, the anthem record. Lord Jesus. Oh,
Right.
God. But see, I said at the stage. Oh, you never know. Okay.
Look.
I see what you mean. So check this out. Later on that night, I'm partying out. I wanted to celebrate with family. We go to La Marina, New York City. It so happens that
The infamous.
Yes, the infamous La Marina, New York City. And it so happens that the head MVP player of the year, the reason why the Mets went to the playoffs and they went to the World Series was because of Yoenis Cespedes, right? He was new. That was actually his first game there, or the second. It was either the first or the second game that he had there. I meet him in La Marina. His old entourage is like, oh my God, that's the singer from earlier, which I'm like, I was like Beyonce that day, forget it. You couldn't even talk to me. I was like, I am the singer. This is me. And he's like, yeah, I'm like the MVP of the team. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, what's... We build a friendship. Throughout time, I'm noticing he loves how I sing. So I pitched to him, hey, you have a walkout song. Can I write you a walkout song? I don't know where this idea came from. But I'm thinking, well, if someone's always asking you to sing, why don't you hear it every time you walk out, right? I just threw it out there, never thinking he was going to be like, all right. He's like, send it to me tomorrow. And I'm like, tomorrow? I'm like, I can't do something overnight. He's like, send it to me tomorrow. This is now before the big, like the last 4 games of the World Series. Mm-hmm. He's like, if I like it, I'll use it. And I'm like, that's bullshit. But I'm like, you know what? Let me try it. So I go off. Do you remember where the old, like where the old Rock Nation Studios is on the block of 4040? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I went over there with my old boy, Pat, and these producers. And I was like, all right, I got a job for you guys. They didn't even believe me. I was like, can you guys help me create a jingle and a walkout song for Yoenis Cespedes? These boys stopped everything. They canceled their whole day. They were like, come in now. Let's get this done. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm very serious. We created. The next day I sent it to him. He's on the way to the stadium when he was hearing it on his phone. And he's like, I love it. I'm going to use it. And I was like, yeah, okay. 2 hours later when I'm watching on the TV and I'm like, is that my song? And it just turned out that was his biggest game ever. He hit like a mammoth home run. That shit was on replay. It was all over the news. What ties to that? Not only did he just kill it, but then he has this walkout song that says his name and everybody's chanting it. People thought I was Rihanna because he was a Rock Nation artist. So they're like, maybe Rihanna? Maybe this? No one could find me. It took 3 days before all of a sudden I'm on Fader magazine. I was next to the Drake's Hotline Bling story. I was on ABC. I was on Univision, which is a Spanish thing, Telemundo, Channel 11. I mean, every freaking channel. Mike and Mike was always playing me on the radio, giving me shout outs. It was like the most, like for 6 months almost, I felt like I was touring just off Citi Field and the Mets. Even after the loss of the World Series, I did a collaboration with Fox for Tears of Joy, where they used the record too. And now the Mets took this record almost as their remembrance of that powerful, magical year of the whole team. So now it's not just Yoeni's song, it's the whole Mets song. And I was just like, oh no, just when I think things couldn't get better, it did. Couple months in, I was still moving around. I did a record with Don Dinero. I don't know if you guys know him. He reached out to me. He at that time was, I believe, president of Adventures, but the Latin division. And he needed a record. That was the first time that I sang in Spanish, really since little, like on a record. And we did the record Que Pasaría, so that was kind of cool. He didn't release it till recently, though, but we recorded it back then. It so happened the record was perfect to release around 2019, 2020 when all the COVID stuff happened, because it was a record talking about we have to change the world, kind of, but in Spanish. Couple months later, I decide, you know what, again, this weird flink again that happened to me years ago where I'm like, I just need to push away. Many people ask me, well, what was going on with you that you just wanted to, you were in the middle of everything going right for you. And I think I just kind of got tired of like broken promises on the industry, people that always want to help and they really just trying to talk to you or like do some wild stuff with you and they're not really trying to help, or people eating your ears out. Like at this point, I'm no longer at this point where I'm trying to hear people talk all day. It's either show me actions if you really want to work, or don't. Like, don't bother me at all. Leave me peaceful in my corner. And I think all of that got to me. And I think that's more where you were trying to get at. What does it feel like to be in the industry? If you don't really love this, is exhausting.
I think
depression almost, like you can get into serious depression if you don't fight back and get yourself out of that cloud.
And there's so many different ways that men and women also have to deal with these different. So I don't want to. And some of these things that we might think are different are the same. So just because you're a woman and you might get hit on by a guy, it's the same that might be for a guy who might get hit on by a woman who's in a powerful space. But I will ask you, because I've worked with a lot of women artists, models, photographers. That space is always different for you guys, especially because of it's a male dominated industry. Very. So I will ask you, what was the overcoming that you kind of felt when you saying that, because you could have quit, you could have said, I'm like you said, I'm kind of over all of this. I don't want to deal with any of. So, but you left, but there was a moment where you overcame, and now you're back. You're here, right?
Can I ask a stupid question before you get to that?
Please.
It just
no questions are stupid.
It just popped in my head because he said, people hitting on you, whatever.
Oh, it was crazy.
I gotta ask this. Sure. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta ask this. I'm not gonna have you say names. We don't do that here.
No, I would never.
No gossip.
I would
no
never.
gossips. But
you won't get no clickbaits here.
No.
The biggest artist to ever hit on you, has it been in what genre of music?
Why artists?
I'm about to say producers, engineers,
videographers.
Yeah,
like R&B, hip hop,
white,
no, listen,
rock music.
No, but I'm just saying, who like. In what genre of music was the biggest hit?
And what if it's not even music?
I'm about to say.
I'm just asking. Music. Music.
It goes so
I'm asking
far,
music.
Yeah. And as a
it's
woman,
my goddamn question. It's music.
I would say it would be an exec.
An exec in what? Hip hop, R&B, what?
Hip hop, R&B, pop, kind of collaborate in all. Nowadays everybody's intertwined. So I would say that.
Your biggest hit on was an exec.
Yes. Where like if I would have went that way, I would have been J-Lo at this point.
Okay. So I ask you, with that being said, goes back to my original question. How do you overcome that? Because again, I was saying to Trace earlier, we was talking about more of the fame and stuff wise than the case was, and more or less money wise. But again, let's not go out of the fact that men and women will take a route that seems beneficial. Like you said, I could be J-Lo right now.
Yeah.
To some people, that cost in that moment it's not that high.
It's not that high.
To be where you want to go for a moment in time. So again, I'm not here judging to say
No.
what's right and what's wrong. I'm just asking, what is the moment that you overcame, even when you leaving and now but you're here.
Yeah.
So obviously you're back, you're doing music. What overcomes that thought in your process, that mind process, to say, hey, I still want to do this, knowing that you're still going to come across these things.
Oh, it's worse now.
No matter if you're, I want to say Beyonce, Rihanna, any of these women. I mean, you still got these powerful people, men and women, who will cross a line that to see. And again, it doesn't even have to be sexual. It might be against your pride. It might be against what you believe in. So again, let's not just leave it into one term, but how do you overcome these things as a woman? I want to specifically say also being faced with these certain things and still wanting to be in this industry and stay here and do it.
So I'm going to start a little bit of what happened then and pushing of how I transitioned into it, in a sense. What I see now. Back then, if you asked me that question, I wouldn't be able to answer it as clear as I can now. But then the reason why I decided to withdraw wasn't because I couldn't handle it. I could handle it. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. And it was so draining that it was taking away. Like, I think my biggest talent is my energy, is my personality. My singing is great, but my presence is stronger. I don't need to be drained by people. Drain your energies. It was putting me in a miserable state. The reason why I love music is because it made me happy. But the minute things don't make me happy, I tell everybody, hey, get out of whatever it is. Not
you
just
can curse,
career.
It's okay.
Yeah, because everyone, I'm like, can I?
Yeah, you good.
But I tell people, get out of whatever it is, from family to friends to relationships to careers to food. Right. So what happened to me then, the reason why I exited, because I just felt like I needed that. I needed me time. I needed to rebuild, because I just kind of felt like I was getting into a bad circle of just constantly the same thing. Like every time you step ahead, you back down.
Right.
And then every time you step ahead, you're building, then you're back all the way in the bottom of the stairs. Imagine trying to get to the top of the stairs. And every time you're next to that final stair, the whole shit collapsed.
Right.
So at some point, is my mental, you know how they always say your mental state, you got to keep it clear?
Yep.
You got to keep yourself good. So I decided to keep me good. And I went back. I just said, screw it. And I disappeared. And it was the best thing that happened. And this is why. Years later, this was around end of 2015, top of 2016. I returned in 2022. I wanted to come back in 2019, but then COVID hit, right? And so that was pointless. So by 2021, that's when I started coming back in. And by 2022, I released. What I think changed this, all those years I took, it wasn't worthless. It wasn't pointless. I had a plan. There was a reason. Maybe then I was not ready to deal with it. Something worse could have happened to me if I actually would have went into the industry the way I wanted it to, right? I wasn't mentally prepared. This industry, you have to be mentally prepared and know exactly who you are and what you want to be.
Can I guess? Did it give you more power to endure what you didn't want to endure before?
Oh, yeah. Please. I know, because I know what to expect. I'm also older. I'm wiser. Like, it sounds weird. I had other experiences in life that happened throughout those years that also in a weird way prepared me to where I'm now. That I didn't notice it then. I'm thinking it's just life experiences. But no, now that I look back at everything I went through between those years in life experiences, I'm like, God was just strengthening to put me right back into where I should have never left in the first place, but just giving me the tools to be able to handle it better.
Right.
You know, and to mentally handle it better, because I was still handling it. Now, with what you said, I don't think there's nothing wrong with women that do decide to go that route, or men, or the ones that don't. I personally don't know me morally, I can't. That's not me. So I think if it is you, well, damn, go for it. If you're going to get that end prize.
Right.
And that's more important to you, I say go with whatever makes you happy and whatever feels morally correct to you.
Absolutely.
Not what anybody thinks should be morally correct.
Absolutely.
I didn't do this because of what I think people feel women should be, you know, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I did this because this is really in me.
Right.
It doesn't feel right. And yeah, I want it back, but not like that. Like, it's going to sound funny, but I am a child of God, even though I'm not religious.
Right.
So I believe that God gave me this talent. God is the one that keeps putting me back into this path. This is where he wants me to be, but I'm going to do it through his path. Not nobody out here is going to decide when is my time.
So fast forward to now. You sent us a Spanish track. You told me that you transitioned from English to Spanish. Let's talk about Fina now.
Yes.
Ooh.
Let's get to it.
I'm a motherfucking monster. No, I'm just kidding. But this time around, I'm just more decided. For quite many years, even back then, people used to always tell me, Fina, why don't you sing Spanish music? Mind you, little secret. The first thing I ever sang was Spanish music.
You got a good Spanish accent.
Yeah, like I used to
I can't
sing,
talk like that.
Oh God, my Spanish is actually trash, but you know, it's
sound
good.
really good at Spanish.
It holds.
I'm about to say your songs aren't.
Yeah, no. Oh God, that's another story, but that's another one.
Okay.
So people used to always tell me, why don't you sing in Spanish? Why don't you sing in Spanish? And I was like, no, I want to sing English. That's where I really can, like, I move well in English. I want to do English. But something happened that when I wanted to come back, something clicked in me and said, you're going to do Spanish. Mind you, what people have been telling me for years that I never listened to, something automatically told me this time around, you're going to come back into the industry, but you're going to start different. You're going to start from ground up. Mind you, at this point, I'm already coming with artists. We're very like with a top shit. That's how artists act. Even when they got nothing going on for them, they always like Beyonce outside, right? So,
narcissistic.
Yeah, it's very narcissistic. And I do agree with that.
New era.
Even being an artist, I agree with that. But what happened? All of a sudden, I humbled the hell down. Like, I don't know how this happened. That's why I'm like, only God did this to me. Because I was so humble and I wasn't scared to start from scratch. I wasn't scared to go and knock on doors and do stages that I said I would never do again because I'm beyond that, right? No, I'm not beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I humbled down and I was like, I want to start with doing Latin music and I'm going to start from scratch because in Latin, nobody knows me. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go out and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I got with new management, Maximilian Management, which are two brothers, Eddie and Max. That's Eddie right there.
Shout out Eddie, man. Shout out management.
What's up, man?
I was definitely going to get into that
right.
because a lot of things you spoke even earlier, even about the Chicago thing. I wanted to ask about a lot of that process of if you were handling that yourself.
Oh, that was
or
me.
If you had a lot of people around you.
Yeah, no, that was always me.
Or when did that change and how did that change? But you can continue on.
This was the first time I had management. Yeah.
So out of your whole career,
Yeah.
this is your first. And how long has it been? Just roughly?
It's about to be 2 years.
About to be 2 years.
Yeah.
So again, so you've been doing this for all this time. So where did these things back then, like, where are you getting this advice from? I mean, you went to college, so
yeah, I didn't really.
That takes away a lot of the questions I might have to ask because
but that's
you
not
went to
always
school.
true.
Well, again, 95% of our musicians or artists that we have that I know didn't go to school, even around the field of something they were doing. Even if they went to college or school, you went even for
PR and advertising.
Advertising, which kind of honestly shit.
I wish I put it into play because it would have helped me now, but
even though you still have a little bit more time to know how that goes and how that works.
Yeah.
With kind of marketing and stuff like that. So it's kind of just great that you did that. But I also say that to say that it's great that you have management now and you believe in taking some direction from some people that's advisors. And you believe in them, and I think that a lot of people and a lot of artists in your space don't really believe in that because of which I was saying earlier, as far as the believing in themselves so much that they don't need anybody.
No, I need everybody.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I'm still building my team. I'm still looking for my team and all the players that are still missing in my team.
Right.
And I'm still open to it. And every time I come out, I always tell people like I'm open to working, I'm open to this, I'm open to advice. Even my management, what I love about them, they're open to all of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We are not, I don't know, Tony Mottola, where we feel like we've reached the highest of the point.
Right.
We're here and we're open to work. We're here to win.
Right.
And in order to win, like I come from sports and that's why I'm like, college didn't teach me this. I've always been very smart.
Right.
This is the cocky in me now. I've always been very smart. Yeah. And I've always been surrounded also around a smart group of people, whether they were from the streets or from college or from, they're successful because they just left school and became entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. But my group of people were very smart and grounded.
Right.
So even my mom is stupid smart. And I had her my entire life
Shout out
for
Mama
free.
Fina.
Yes, Mama Fina, by the way, was literally like my manager all these years.
Okay.
And my supporter, she's not here today
salute.
because she's watching my nephew. So she's pissed because
Right.
she never misses any of this.
Okay.
She's always outside.
Right.
She travels with
Shout
me.
out Mama Fina though. We're gonna show some love
yeah.
to Mama Fina for being here in spirit.
Yes, biggest supporter, big pusher. Even when Chinks met her, he actually said, I wish I had a mom like that. Like, this is incredible. She believed in your time from the beginning. Most artists I meet, their moms are awesome, but they didn't want them to do that.
Right.
And I get why, because
Right.
I wouldn't want my kids to be in this industry either.
I'm sorry. So let's get really quick back to Fina now and the music that you have
Yes.
out now. Trace, you do have some of the records that was sent
She
to
sent
us,
me a
right?
Spanish joint
Sent you a
since
Spanish
I don't really. I'm not too
So
good with the Spanish
let's
words.
just talk.
Tracy,
You gonna
killing
say,
me.
yeah, my
let's
mother
talk
hates
about
me
a
for
little
it,
bit
yeah.
of how you got back into the Spanish music and the Latin. Let me say Latin because you mentioned the Latin. I'm pretty sure there's a difference between Spanish and Latin music.
It's all the same thing.
Okay, cool. So, I want to sound like I'm in it. So, Latin music. What is this song about, and how did you really kind of come to getting back to this Latin sound?
So I have 2 songs out so
Okay.
far, right? So we'll talk about the first one. Well, I had the new management. They're in the Spanish fields.
Mhm.
I wanted to do Spanish music. We didn't know which route to go, but we knew it was going to be something urban for starters. And then also, I put into thought, the last time people heard me, I was a hip hop artist.
Mhm.
I did R&B. So for the first record, we chose Sola. Sola actually means alone in Spanish. Sola is actually even tattooed.
I know that. I know that one.
Oh, you sure now?
I know that one. No, but this other song is
El Desquite. That's the new one.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one.
We gonna get
say
straight
that
to that one. I got you in a minute.
Right.
But we're gonna tell you a little about Sola. The reason why I chose Sola was it had that hip hop beat. If you listen to Sola, it's not a reggaeton beat. It's kind of hip hop-ish. But then I'm singing in Spanish. Why? And I'm throwing a little bit of English in that record too. That record is very independent. It's like a bad bitch that's on her own. She's killing it. She don't need nobody. She don't need no man. She don't need nobody. She's outside and she wants to party. She wants to drink and do whatever the hell she wants because she can.
As always,
Yeah.
with the ladies.
Yeah. So she outside, right? She outside.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I don't care.
Now you're gonna say
Trace,
what you're
who
gonna say.
hurt
Shut
you?
up.
Right.
Shut up. Nobody hurt him. Actually,
Who hurt Trace?
Nobody hurt him. No, and he just actually. Shut the fuck. This nigga don't even talk about relationships. Go ahead.
Yo, I'm
Next
done.
one.
But watch. So that record was perfect. It was snappy. It was me. It was very New York and Queens. Like
Right.
it was all me. And I thought it was the perfect record to introduce myself because I'm still giving a little English and I still got that hip hop feel that people loved of me back
Okay.
then. So that's the first record. We killed that. The video was fire.
Okay.
Right. Months later, next record. Now we're like, you know what? I think it's time now. Now we could go all in.
Mhm.
And that's El Desquite that just came out about like a month and change ago.
Can you pronounce it for us a little slow?
El Desquite.
El Desquite.
What does
El
that mean?
Desquite means revenge.
El Desquite.
Oh, shit.
Now,
She on her Beyonce shit.
yeah, but this is the thing. So I have a problem with this. Like my manager right now must be like rolling his eyes right now. See, he's rolling his eyes.
He got his head down. He's like,
Yeah,
he
this
don't want
is
to deal with
why.
this shit.
Yeah, he's rolling his eyes. 'cause
Damn, what we do? What happened?
we had a big fight with this record. Why? Realistically, if you translate on Google, El Desquite is going to be like revenge. But this song is not about revenge. And this is why.
Okay.
This record is almost like the record that should have come out before Sola. It's like a story continuation. Because in this record, this girl just got out of this crazy ass freaking relationship,
Mhm.
right? With this dude that was just full of crap. And she's like, you know what? This whole time she thought she was the issue. And when she finally realized it was him, he leaves. At some point, you know that point of the relationship when you're done with the relationship, at first you might suffer a little bit, but there comes a day that you just wake up and you no longer care. You gain your power back, ball is on your court, and you on top again.
Mhm.
And now this person, all of a sudden, when you got your power back, they want you back.
Mhm.
They want to hit you up. They want to be like, oh, what's up, you? Hey, you. What you doing? What you chilling? You want to catch up and want to reminisce when you're not about that no more because now you've become better than that.
Okay.
So in this record, it's talking about a female that has now finally got to that point that the suffering is gone. The wanting to understand what happened is gone. She don't need closure. She's so happy and she got her groove back. Like Stella got her groove back. She is her again. She got her power back and she's empowered and she's in the best point of her life. She's in shape. She's healthy. She got a great job. She's doing what she loves. Great friends, family. Like she's enlightened and she's so happy. Now that she looks back, she's like, oh, what was I doing?
Okay.
I'm so much better since I left this guy. My life has turned around.
Okay.
Right? So in a sense, the reason why it's called the revenge is because, well, in a sense, it is kind of like a revenge, but it's not. Because she's not doing this purposely. Revenge is when you do something
It's definitely
purposely
some
to hurt
Beyonce
them.
shit. Go ahead.
You know, he's like, it's Beyonce in Latin.
And just for the record, I'm not the one who sounds hurt here. She sound hurt.
No,
Because
I'm
versus
telling you.
the first song was,
Wait.
I want this dude on his knees. Now she's talking
Apologizing
about
and
some
all
other
that
shit.
Damn,
right?
that was
Who
no
hurt
such
her?
thing.
Who hurt you?
That
Don't
was
worry about
no
me.
such
Who hurt
thing.
you?
All right.
Who hurt you?
All right.
But
So
El
look.
Desquite is a fun record. Like, it's a record talking about empowerment again. I'm
Okay.
empowering again, but I'm empowering differently. I'm empowering that it was okay if you were suffering, but now you get your life back. You good. He's trying to come back. Don't let that back in. Get out.
Empowerment, but it's really revenge. That's some spiteful
But that's
shit
what's
that women
messed
do,
up.
God damn
Like,
it.
it's not. So I always fight with this because, like, he says that's revenge, and I say it's not, and this is why
It's
it's
kind of
not.
spiteful, also.
If
That's
I
what I
did it,
said.
Wow,
but hold on,
That's what I
look.
said.
If I did it purposely, then that's revenge. But really, it happened organically. You think it's revenge?
Y'all always with y'all subliminal shit.
Nah, you think it's revenge.
You thought this out. That's not organic.
Yeah,
Right.
no, this is organic.
You
This
thought this
happened
out.
naturally.
Right.
This
Like,
shit planned.
you know what it
Right.
is? Karma. It's karma happening in sports. That's God. That's not me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies and
if she
gentlemen.
has a
All right.
plan
So
that has to do with music,
El
we didn't
Desquite.
know. We didn't know. We don't know what's going on with Fina over here.
But it's
Right.
actually a fun song, and it's a very, very fun song. The beat
All
is
right.
popping. You could dance to it. It's dope.
So please introduce it, and we're gonna play it right now.
Yes. So here is Fina El Desquite.
You are now tuned in to The Fix Show, only on DTFradio.com.
A casa no quiero llegar.
Brand new Fina, you know what it is. We live on The Fix Show, DTFradio.com.
Ando pensando en el daño que me hiciste. Hoy celebro que te fuiste. Fuiste tú el que lo dañaste. Ahora te jodiste. Ya no ando sola, rumbeo, no estoy triste. Ahora soy yo quien te coge a ti de chiste. Me tomo un shot y río de lo que dijiste. Qué rico el de quite. Ahora te jodiste. Ya no ando sola, rumbeo, no estoy triste. Ahora soy yo quien te coge a ti de chiste. Me tomo un shot y río de lo que dijiste. Qué rico el de quite. Qué rico el de quite. Oh, me trepo a donde quiero ahora. Me conviene estar sola. Ahora se te quite, ahora se te quite. Salgo y punto con mi corillo junta. Con plata pa' botella, el vapor está que abunda. Los gatos nos ven, las costosas de la junta. Mi brillo no se arruina, jamás y nunca. Oh. No necesito un rey, mi trago lo pago yo. Oh. No caigo dos veces en la misma situación. Ando pensando en el daño que me hiciste. Con la clica tía, ando encendida, disfruto todo, está en mi vida. Yo soy una shorty que le encanta la salida. Llama al cantinero que me traiga la bebida. Con la dos prendida, ando encendida, disfruto todo, esta es mi vida. Ando acompañada de mi amiga y las ardillas. La dos prendida, con la dos prendida. Ahora te jodiste, ya no ando sola, rumbeo, no estoy triste. Ahora soy yo que te encoge a ti de chiste. Me tomo un shot y río de lo que dijiste. Qué rico el de quite, qué rico el de quite. Oh, me trepo donde quiero ahora. Me conviene estar sola. Ahora es el de quite, ahora es el de quite. Con la dos prendida, ando encendida, disfruto todo, está en mi vida. Ando acompañada de mi amiga y la sativa. Con la dos prendida, con la dos prendida. Oh, me trepo donde quiero ahora. Me conviene estar sola. Ahora es el de quite, ahora es el de quite. Lincoln, Maximilian, dímelo Eddie. Fina.
Yeah. Brand new Fina.
Okay.
Prez.
Hold on. No, don't go to me. Don't do that. Let me. You're Spanish.
Okay.
Let me go to you first.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you feedback because I want to start off with a question.
Just for the record, I didn't tell you this at the beginning,
Do you
but I'm the asshole of the show.
He's-
I keep it a buck.
You don't keep it a
I
buck.
always keep it 1,000. So I'm gonna tell you what it is for real, okay?
Okay.
How I really feel.
Tough
okay?
skin. What we talking about earlier? Those assholes that you got to
like
deal
it. No,
with.
That's cool. That's fine.
He's
Right.
one of them that you're gonna have to deal with. As we
I
come
no,
up
I am
consistently.
one of the ones.
Yes.
One
Let's
of
do
the
it.
ones.
Right.
Okay.
Respectfully.
As it, you know, I'm gonna just say this from a DJ perspective. I could definitely play it at a spot. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's
It blends well. You kind of go in with
yeah.
with a couple things. Right?
It sounds like a generic
Right.
reggaeton song that you could play in any set. You know, prime time, opening, mid set. You know what I'm saying? So that's good.
That's great.
Personal. You know what I'm saying? Personal wise.
Did you understand what she was saying in the record?
Yeah,
I wanna
for the
ask.
most part.
So you
For the most
understand
part.
Spanish,
yeah,
Trace?
yeah, I understand. Yeah,
Okay.
so for the
No,
most
he
part,
understands.
I understood the record. Personally, it's like I've only liked 10 reggaeton songs in life.
Oh,
you know what I'm
God.
saying? So, because I feel like all Spanish music sounds the same. There's always one in a million that sounds different from the others. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about Spanish music. You understand what I'm saying?
Latin.
You know, there's always that one merengue song that stands out from all the rest. There's always that one bachata, that one salsa, that one, You know, right? That's just how I feel about Spanish music. That's personally, you know what I'm saying? But as a DJ, I'll definitely rock the joint. I'll definitely play it on iHeartRadio. You know what I'm saying? Give me
I
a clean
appreciate
version.
you.
Clean version.
That is a clean version.
I have to say that. I have to say that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely need a clean version, and I'll play it on iHeartRadio. You know, play it at a spot too. You see how people like it. To me, it sounds a little, you know, sounds as far as the words, you definitely know how to put a song together. You're definitely a dope writer. But just as it sounds, like if people listening to it, I think it's like a little too generic. You know what I'm saying? Like that generic sound. I don't hear as far as production anything different, anything that makes it stand out from any other reggaeton song. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, but that's
great
good.
great job on it. You know what I'm saying? On the writing, you're definitely dope. I rock with you.
Well, gracias, Trace.
Yeah.
Gracias,
Yeah.
Trace. Glad you understood, because I know you understand. You don't really speak that well, but I know you understand.
I didn't say I don't understand nothing. I just don't speak it very well.
I just said that. I said I know you understand.
Trace,
well,
when you play the record, sometimes let me know. I'm gonna come through.
All right.
Yeah, show some love.
I'll play it at the 40-40.
Bet. Just let me know. Boom. I'll come in the mic, sing that shit live.
So I wanted to start with a question, and I know this probably sounds. We said there's no stupid questions, but obviously. A lot of American or English or other culture language is they will make their music and they're not really thinking about outsiders, right? They just, Latins think about Latin, American think about American. If I'm rapping, I'm not really thinking about if Spanish or Creole people can understand what I'm saying in their language. So I'm just kind of doing what I do. Is that something that you think about?
I think about the whole world.
Because you come from, you said you was doing more English stuff first.
Yes, I was.
So do you think about that now? You said you did one that was both the first record you dropped.
Yeah, Sola was mainly Spanish and it had like a hip hop beat, so it was a little different.
Then you said, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna jump into this. Yeah. Now, do you think about catering to those people still, or now just because this is a Latin sound, it's only Latin, I'm only going to do Latin? Is that what the process is here?
Well, you don't want to confuse your audience too much.
Right.
This is I'm just coming back. This is record 2 that I dropped. Mm-hmm. So I want to give a little bit of consistency of the sound of the music a little bit, right?
What you're going to be doing.
But
plus she said it. She said this is her new, new direction,
but
her new
don't
journey.
Get it twisted though.
Okay. No,
I love music in general. If there's some fire,
you're gonna make her say the Beyonce shit.
No.
Yeah, if there's some fire,
I wasn't going there to ask that. I was just asking because, again, for someone, I was excited again because we had a bilingual artist up here, and I didn't get a chance. Obviously, I don't understand Spanish, and if you were to ask me, I would also say this was a generic Latin or Spanish sounding beat that I would walk into a space and I would hear a beat that sounds like this, and I would just move and I would just be like, okay, cool.
Spanish music is kind of like what Trace said is weird, but Spanish music kind of is repetitive. Like salsa songs to me all sound the damn same.
But again, that goes back to me when I think about reggae music and
reggae too. Reggae sounds a lot the same.
Even hip hop in a certain sense when they get into their trend fucking bag.
Oh,
when it gets to a whole trend of a sound, you start to hear the sound. Now you got certain individuals. You got certain individuals who will continue.
I feel like drill kind of sounds like the same.
No, but before that, you had. Let's go through the era. You got crunk. Yeah, it was a sound. You had the
house music. House music used to sound the same to me too.
EDM. Their sounds.
EDM is a little different.
You might, depending on the DJ though, because it's
true.
The sound of the music makes. Real quick, all right, going back to Fina.
Trace about to just come at you. I'm kind of excited.
I don't have enough time.
Can I hear you come at y'all though? Because I kind of want to see it.
Time to go with this guy. I want to go back with you. I wanted to say that I heard a lot of your sound, and I do, not this song that I've heard, but going to your Instagram, I've heard different sounds from you. So I do like your music, even though I don't understand.
I appreciate that.
This particular record, I'm with Trace, which I'm usually not. But I do feel like...
So I'm doing something right if I could get you to agree on anything.
But I do feel like this production on this particular record, if you're going with it as a single, if you're pushing it, I do feel like if you're going to do a single in Latin music, come out with production as a different something, even if this is the snare or the beat, the drum, like you was doing, like you said, even if you're doing hip-hop on Spanish, that's even cool itself, it's
like the Sola record. The Sola record was a little different.
Just your delivery, your sound. It's like everything was generic, and it's like
in this record, because I've heard other records from her that's not what I would feel like. It's not the generic sound, because like I said, I've heard it and I was excited to be here. I thought I was going to get some of that maybe on this one. This one, like I said, was just a particular one, no problem. But because I've heard other music from you, I know that you can tap into a sound that's not super generic. Or
Yeah, no,
not,
I could tap into a lot.
you can tap into a lot. So what I feel
I'm
like,
too versatile.
but no, it's never too. It's never too much, right? But it's like you said earlier. It's about kind of focusing in and pushing out and giving consistency on that sound. So don't give out this sound, a generic sound, if you're going to switch it up and want to be doing something different later.
But that's what
It's
everybody
kinda,
does.
No, but
No.
it's kind of like I'll give you an example, and you probably know management. When Don Omar came out with Dolly.
Oh
right?
yeah, that was
yeah,
super like
the
basic.
original, right?
Yeah.
But then Swiss Beats took it.
Oh, he killed
He
that.
flipped it,
Yeah.
and now it sounded way different, and it started getting more love than the original.
So what you're saying is I need Swiss to come in and flip
No,
it?
I didn't
Swiss,
say that.
where you at?
What I'm saying is
What I'm
that it
saying.
could be the simplest. It could be the simplest things, like in the beginning of that Swiss beat, dun, 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 you know, with the
yeah.
dun, dun. It could be the smallest thing to make it not sound generic.
That's true.
You understand what
Yep.
I'm saying? Like this was everything from the vocals to everything. Like you wouldn't know who's on the record. You would think it's 50 other people on the record. They wouldn't know it's you. So what would make it stand out?
Can we get
You
the game
understand
going
what
real quick before we get out of here? I
Huh?
want to do the game with her.
Yeah, let's do the game.
Can I mention where everybody can follow me too? Don't forget.
No,
about
No,
that.
we ain't get to that.
Don't be
yet.
rushing me off of this mic.
we
We
not.
got you.
We not.
We're gonna make sure we
not rushing you.
We want to get you in the game. We want to make
You
sure
rushing
we got
us.
the game with us. Damn,
You rushing us. You rushing.
She
That's
rushing
never
us.
happened. That's never happened.
before, Trace.
Hold on a second.
Dang.
Yeah, don't be rushing us.
Yo,
Hold
tell
on,
me what to
hold
do
on.
on our
Hold
show.
on.
I'm
Cut
about
the
to take over the
Beyonce
show
shit
again.
right now. Cut the Beyonce shit.
She might be
Right
the new
now.
co-host, actually.
Oh, my
I'm trying to-
God.
Listen, that kind of
Oh.
vibe. Listen, that kind of
Right.
energy.
Oh my
You trying
God.
to take
I
his
am
place?
multi-talented, y'all. Acting, I host, and I talk, and I do all
She might be
types of
trying to
crazy
take your
things.
place when you go on vacation.
That's it.
Oh shit.
She telling us what to do with the guests and all that. All right, listen, let's get into the game.
All right, let's do it.
Man.
So we have a game
Got a
that's
game here.
called You Featuring Who,
You featuring who?
where we would ask you a question as opposed to like Fina featuring what producer? Who's your favorite producer? Who's somebody who you would like to, get on their beats or have produce one of your songs? So it would be Fina
I have so
featuring
many.
who?
All
You
right.
know what I'm
And I
saying?
can only choose
So
one.
it's who featuring who.
Don't
no,
think
but
about
you got to do it quick. You can't
Ooh,
think about it.
okay. All right.
It's
let's
gotta
go.
be an
So it's just
instant
whatever first comes out.
Answer.
That's it.
All right, let's
Instant
do it.
Answer. Okay. So we're gonna do production. We're gonna do R&B. We're gonna do a little better.
That's
Okay.
it. Yeah, let's go through
So
some.
This is gonna be
So
hard.
I'm gonna start.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
Spanish trap music. Fina featuring who? Let's go.
Trap like them both?
No, trap. Spanish trap.
What Spanish trap?
You don't know what Spanish trap is?
No, not really. Like what Spanish
The
trap? Like
first
them both?
couple of Bad Bunny songs that he did that was
I
slow.
don't know. To me, I consider
no.
all that just reggaeton,
No,
urbano,
it's not.
mix.
It's called Spanish trap.
Oh shit, I don't know that. I don't
Okay,
know.
that's Spanish trap. Go on every record pool and it says Spanish trap.
All right then, Bad Bunny.
Okay.
If that's what we consider.
All right. Let's go with a little bit on the more production side. If you could have a producer produce a R&B Latin record for you, it would be who? You featuring who?
Timbaland.
Spanish beat? Timbaland? Okay.
I think he can pull it off.
He has a lot of real
Look at this
crazy
guy.
sounds.
I think he can pull it off.
Even
I
like
think
when
he
he
can
did that
pull it
Nelly Furtado stuff.
Okay.
Remember with the sounds, he has that tribal thing or the
Right.
other
But that
song
wasn't
with-
Spanish.
That
No,
that-
but listen to the beat type. You get what I'm saying? Like he could flip it easy.
That wasn't
But
I
that's
think
who you
Timbaland would
wanna
kill
work
it.
with. That's who
But
you-
Yeah, Timbaland would kill it.
She would wanna work with. I think that's
Timbaland
how
will
it
kill it. I think
Certified.
he'll kill it.
All right,
It
go
will
ahead.
work.
One more, Trace. I got another one.
Artists who are not here with us anymore.
Easy. Selena.
That was easy.
That was so easy.
That was easy.
Okay.
I could see that. All right. I want to go with a little bit on a side.
First, let me say you featuring who.
You feature who? She's
You
taking
fucking
your
up the
job.
game.
I was like, I'm done.
Goddamn, you
Selena.
Go ahead.
All right. Another one. All right. So let's get into. You said you were multi-talented. You said you would want to get into. Let's just say if it was podcasting and not including our show, we're gonna take our show out. If Phoenix could sit on,
We a live show. We not a podcast.
we a live show. That's the fact.
We live.
That's a fact. We don't do none of this editing.
Roku,
I like
Amazon,
Hello.
everything.
I like Noriega's
Stream
show.
us Okay, cool. Well, damn, hold on. So
Why
if
you
you
don't
was
let us
able-
talk? Let us
Yeah, she
talk.
Never let me.
I hear
She
your
let
question
you
before you
finish?
speak it. Y'all speaking it slow, so I
Jeez,
hear
well,
it. at the
obviously,
ending.
we told you it was you featuring who, so you would know.
Yes.
Management.
Management.
Management, you
Tell her
gotta
how
do
to
something over
interviews
here,
over
man.
here. How to let us talk first.
Right.
All right. This ain't a game show. All right.
Boom, the buzzer.
So if
Oh,
Fina
that's
could
funny.
feature as a co-host on any show, as a whether it be radio, whether it be podcast, it would be
Oh.
Fina on co-hosting with who?
Oh, I like that Solomon show too. The one in the morning.
Solomon in the morning.
I
Yeah.
don't wake up till 1 in the afternoon, so I
who's-
wouldn't know.
Okay, so all right. So then there's so many good ones.
Solomon in but
I mean, I like that Noriega show too, the podcast.
Drink champ.
Drink
Yeah,
Champs
I
is the
like
name
Drink
of it.
Champs, too.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
Drink Champs.
All
You
right.
have a podcast with Drink Champs. Yeah, one more.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this hard.
Okay.
Y'all making me
I'ma-
think too
I'ma
much
make
right now.
this-
It's
I'ma
late.
make this-
supposed to be-
I'm gonna make this very, very hard.
Don't be
Mhm.
too hard. You started with the trap Latin thing.
Okay, so you have two artists. You have Biggie and you have J-Lo.
Okay,
Fina featuring who?
Biggie.
Let me get one more because that was dope. I love that one. But let's just get one more real quick. Up and coming
Just want to
artists.
see where her head is at. You know what I'm saying?
That was actually pretty easy.
up and coming artists that you haven't worked with yet, no matter what the genre is, but Fina featuring who? Upcoming artists.
Up and coming though, so
That's
they're
not
not
out. That's not
popping
popping,
yet. Oh,
but
then
Let's see if your ears is to the street.
Fina featuring who? Thinking too much. So.
You're not
Yeah,
to
I
the-
can't-
you're not
Somebody
in
got
the
to be on
street.
your mind that you want
You're
to
not
work
in the
with, that you
street. You're
kinda
not
want.
outside.
No, because the people that I would have thought of, they just popped off, but they were upcoming.
Oh, okay, well, if they just
My
popped in-
girl Lola, then.
Lola?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
cool.
I met Lola a couple times.
Right, nah, that's a fact.
But see,
She's
she
grinding.
just kind of like I was like,
Nah,
oh damn.
But Lola been grinding for a long time,
Yeah.
and anybody that might mention her is
Yeah, I
that's
think,
valid.
yeah, she got that
from
Brooklyn
what she's been
sound. I
doing
like
for
it,
so
yeah.
long. It's not out the way for you to say upcoming.
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm gonna be biased on this one. You know what I'm saying?
Now, would you jump on a
So-
track with
so-
her real quick? Would you jump on a track with her Latin wise or English?
I'll do both.
What would you want to do? You?
I love them both. That's the
Okay.
problem. Like I
Alright.
remember, I'm still also American. Like
I think you would go great with her on a Latin sound. Give
Yeah.
her some different
Yeah,
flavor,
like-
but with your
I
Yeah.
could hear her on a "Don't Play with It" remix Spanish
Spanish
edition.
version. Yes,
Come with the
With
Spanish
Lola,
verse.
absolutely,
Right,
absolutely. I can hear that.
I might
Latin
have to
wise.
send her a DM and be like, Lola, these boys gave me an idea.
How about you
to,
just do it and
Yeah,
send her
like-
the song?
Do it,
What the
do
fuck?
it.
We
Send
just
it.
gonna get this shit
Send
done.
it to me. I'm
Hello,
like,
exclusive.
I'll
Right.
play it.
right. Okay. So I'm gonna be biased on this one.
Go ahead, Trace.
DJs.
Mm.
If you could pick a DJ to DJ your set,
Excluding you or including you?
you could put me. I don't care. She's never heard me DJ.
She's on the
Yeah,
show.
I haven't. I mean, even though that
Um,
night I did hear you DJ. I was at that night at the 4040 when you was killing it with the boys when they went up the 50th anniversary.
Oh shit, you was there.
Yeah, remember
oh,
that?
yeah.
Remember that Jay said he was the DJ at that night, and I was
Yeah,
like, "What?"
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that. Yeah, that's
That was
you.
a
That's you.
Yeah, that was lit. That was
That's
live. Like,
small world. You just did it.
right.
he had Dougie Fresh
Right.
bopping to with him.
Right.
Dougie, you know, Dougie reposted me 4 times.
I ain't gonna lie. She
was
said
there.
it. You know
She
what I'm
was
saying?
there.
I
All
ain't
right,
gonna-
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give me your
All right.
question. We got it.
Fina featuring who?
DJing your set. You coming out. You heavy. You pushing it out. She never heard you though.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm not completely like just in that set that time. It's
But go ahead.
hard.
No,
it's
but go
hard.
ahead. But no, go ahead. Who you featuring? Who
I got so many fire DJs.
that you want that you could see DJing in that set and future long term sets.
But see, that's hard. I don't know.
Right now, go ahead. Off the
Because there's a lot
top.
of little young DJs too that's upcoming.
Right
and
now,
popping.
off the top. Pick them. You rolling. It's on you. Pick a DJ to do your set right now.
Oh, fuck it then. DJ Camilo.
There we go. Hello.
Yeah.
Shout out to Camelo.
Heavy hitters.
DJ Camilo.
597 family.
You know what I'm saying?
June
Shout out to
4th,
Camilo.
Summer Jam coming back to New York.
Gemini season. Hello. We at the UBS. We in Long Island. You know what
Right.
we doing.
Right. Well, now.
But that
this
was
is-
hard.
Now this is the time for you to give out your shout outs.
Give out your
let
shout
people
outs.
know where
Let
they
them know
can
where
find you.
at.
Yes.
Let them know you was on DTF Radio with DJ Trace and Prez.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
go ahead.
Well, first and foremost, DJ Trace and Press, thank you so much for having me on this show.
Right.
I'm gonna give myself a round of applause.
Trace, can you
Hold
bring
on,
the claps
hold
in?
on,
Trace,
hold
can you
on,
bring the
hold
claps
on,
We
in?
do this
hold on,
organically,
hold on,
y'all.
We got class for you. We got class for you, Tina. We got class
Hold
for
on.
you.
We got claps.
Yes.
We gonna keep them going.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Keep them going
Right,
low
right,
while
right.
she give out her shout outs. Keep them going low.
right,
Keep them
right.
going real low while she give out her shout outs.
Okay.
Real
But
low. Real
I,
low.
I really appreciate this. Was a lot of fun. It's actually been a very long time that I've done a
Put 'em off in there,
podcast. like I've done. I was about to say, can you get them damn
I'm
claps
about to say it's
off?
loud. Yeah, we can't hear it. We can't hear it.
That
We
was
can't
his
hear it.
idea. Go
Yeah, it was mine.
Yeah,
I
that
said
was
cut
a
it
bad
off. It was
idea.
bad. It was our first time. We tried it. It wasn't good. All right. Cool.
You're like, Fina got a strong voice. Put it on her.
Right.
Yeah, it's all good. We got you.
But no, thank you so much for having me on this show. I've done interviews, but this was different. This was lit. This was fun.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
had a really good time. You got me thinking a little bit,
There we go.
but it's all good. And you called me without energy, but it's cool. And now, moment of the hour.
Here we go.
Everyone can find me on all social network platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that, yada yada yada. At Fina Musique, and that is FinaMusiq, right? The Q. So Fina Musique on my YouTube. Go follow, go like El Desquite. Still show love to Sola, that is still popping. Y'all gotta hear that record if you haven't too. And you know, there's a lot more coming. To find my records as well, you could check me on all digital platforms: Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, everything under the sun under Fina. And you could put Fina El Desquite or Fina Sola, and the song will pop up. Download, show love, and a lot more fun is coming in the next couple of months. The next record is coming out too. It's gonna be dope. And then the most exciting moment is gonna be like for later on this year, probably my last record of this year. That one I can't wait. Like I feel like almost sending it to Trace before.
Hold on, can we?
Trace, go hear this
Can
one.
we get you? Can we
She
get
don't
you?
know what I do out here
Can
in
we
the
get
streets.
you? Yeah, you gotta. First of all, you gotta come out to a Trace.
Yes.
Actually, he's gonna be doing a set for one of my artists. So maybe you can come out to her show to see how he does his sets and to see how he does those type of openings and closes for
Yeah.
actual artists.
Yeah, because he killed them artists that day.
but-
Doesn't Ja Rule sound the same like the record?
That's cool though, but he's actually been in the stadiums where he can actually have longer time to do what he does for the artists. Not like that space was a 40-40. It was for high profile artists. It was cool. He did this thing. It was great. It was great. But how he does for these artists when he's on tour or when he's in certain venues for the specific artist, any artist could attest for that. He's ever opened up for or closed for. That is
I have one of the best intros for artists.
That's a fact,
ever.
and that's just this. We're not even going to talk about that in today's time. But again,
you
gotta come out to a show to see that. But again, we want to thank you for being here and sharing your story with us and sharing your experiences with us. It's 8 years.
See, I picked a good artist. I had a good
Finally,
good story
picked
today.
a good artist. You know what I'm saying? And last minute.
Yeah.
That was cool.
entertainer, y'all.
Well, no, it
Absolutely.
wasn't last minute. She was actually supposed
No,
to
it
come
was
last
week.
week, yeah.
you sent me
Because
the
you
flyer.
hit me,
Yeah,
right,
okay.
right.
We ain't gonna talk about it off
So
air.
you
All right,
was that
anyway.
you the one that
Hold
ruined
on.
it?
It's his fault.
Turn my video
Oh,
off.
no.
Thank you. Turn my video off. It's closing.
It's
8 years. We on the Fix Show. Listen, man, it's DTF Radio. We are here. We will be back next week. Y'all make sure y'all tune into us live on Roku, on
Fire.
DTF Radio, on Fire TV, YouTube, Facebook. We on everything live. So
Live.
tune in with us, man. Chop
Live
it
is
up
the
with
best
us.
way.
And do not forget, this Sunday, I will be DJing for Talib Kweli
Yes.
in Brooklyn.
We in Brooklyn.
Do not play with me out
Hello,
here.
HBO Trace.
And it's official. I will be live at that Puerto Rican Day Parade.
on the
We-
float.
So, and the magazine is coming out. I'm on the front cover. Industry 21. Stop playing. I ain't even gonna
Listen,
talk no more.
yo, Trace, man,
I ain't
you
gonna
got your
talk no
orange and
more.
blue on. I see what you're doing out
I
here.
ain't talking
man.
no more.
You see what Trace is doing.
I
Listen,
ain't got nothing to say.
Damn.
8
that.
years
Y'all dropping bombs out here.
next week.
It's regular.
It's the Fix.
Next week.
Trace, you from Harlem, right?
LES to be exact.
Lower
Ah.
East Side, New York City.
Okay.
That's where I'm from. Born and raised. I'm still on the block.
Oh, you still out in Delancey?
I'm not from Delancey. I'm from- Management, get her out of here now. It's over. We will be back next week. We will not be here.
Y'all some haters with that.
We see y'all next week, baby. We out. It's
Oh,
the
my
Fix
God.
Show, DTFradio.com. 8 years running. You know what it is. Black Bottle Boys, Big Queens. We out.